Black Sky Radio.
I want to make mention of a passing of one of the Easy Company members here in Kansas City. Paul Rogers was the oldest surviving member of Easy Company. It is a tremendous loss. Just another notch in the losing of the world's greatest generation. Go to Paul Rogers' wiki page. You will see that he was indeed Sergeant Paul Rogers was. He was the embodiment, man. He was exactly what you think when you think of heroes today. Now, we do happen to have, in the waiting as we speak, he's just joined us, one of the surprise Band of Brother actors. Do you want to pick it up from here, Ross, or do you just want to let him guess who it is?
Well, they'll be here all day if they try that. We do have a guest, one of the actors from Band of Brothers joining us, who was in Normandy last year. And so here to tell us a bit about his experience of Normandy is Robin Laing, who played Babe Heffron. Robin, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Owen. How are you?
We're having a ball. We've just had Tim Gray on the line, and we're talking about last year. There was some great stuff happened last year, wasn't there?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I loved it, every minute of it. You know, from our sort of journey from Scotland together over to Bayeux.
You guys traveled together to Normandy last year?
Yeah.
Now, had you been this close before you traveled together, or was this like a, hey, let's just ride because we have a lot to talk about?
Well, Robin and I had met, haven't we, a couple of times before then? And
yeah.
You thought we're both leaving from roughly the same area, so why not travel together? So it made sense.
Well, sure,
Perfectly.
It makes sense, but I was just wanting to know if he knew what he was getting into riding with you for like 4 hours in a car.
Are you talking to me or Robin?
I was talking to you about you and Robin's being held prisoner while you chatter at him for 9 hours.
I've got to tell you, as travelling companions go, you would be hard pushed to find someone better than Ross. It's just.
Well, that's very kind of you. Very.
You know, we all the way from Cumbernauld or Airdrie as it was to Bayeux. We just talked and chatted and laughed. If there's a lull in the conversation, Ross will pull a story out of his back pocket, and his stories are brilliant. He's got great chat, and if all else fails, he can do magic. So you know, that took us. I learned how to palm coins on the train back from Bayeux to the Gare du Nord.
I forgot about that.
Was that on the 7th or the 8th of June on the way back? So it was great. He's a great travelling companion. I had a ball. Both
and
ways.
I have to say, Robin is equally a great travelling companion because he speaks the lingo fantastically. He speaks the local French brilliantly. And
about that.
I asked him on the train if I would see like a typical tourist or like a child. I said, when will I see the Eiffel Tower? And we just happened to be passing it at that time on the train, didn't we, Robin?
Oh yeah, you said, I wonder if we're going to see the Eiffel Tower, and I literally pointed over Ross's shoulder and went, there it is there. And it was about 2 miles away, so we could see the top sort of half of it in the distance. But it was there in all its glory.
We took on all these tours, and
it was fantastic.
I mean, what stands out for you, Robin, from some of the things that you've seen?
Well, the Brecourt Manor was fabulous. We were made so welcome there by Charles and his sister, and that was really special. And I think it was Paul Woodage. He got to do his thing then, his tour guide thing, and take us around the fields outside Brecourt and talk about where the German gun emplacements were, and where the Easy Company guys came from, and what they did. So he sort of, I think he quite enjoyed being able to do that. He gave us a real insight. But it's kind of a magical place at that time of year, Normandy, because we were standing outside Brecourt Manor, just having a chat, and there's kind of there's jeeps going past, and men in uniform, and all the women are dressed up either in uniform or in kind of 40s gear, the real sort of land girls look, and it's kind of, there's very few ordinary cars on the road, and people dressed in ordinary clothes. It's like stepping back in time. It's just, the night we went to where did we go on the last night where the fireworks were?
It
was St Mary Glees, was it?
It was, yes. I couldn't.
It was
I
St
couldn't
Mary
get
Glees.
that out, yeah.
It was like, VE Day all over again. It was just a party. All the streets were closed. Everyone was out in the streets. There were brass bands. There was a huge stage. There was concerts, going on. There was fireworks, but the place was mobbed. It was a tiny little village, and the place with thousands of people there, all dressed up, and it had a real feel of, a sort of very small feel of what it must have been like when sort of victory in Europe was declared, because it had that real sort of, I don't know, everyone just had a real happiness and joie de vivre about them. It was great. It was so many. I mean, even just the day we got to walk around Canton, we sort of took ourselves off the day after Shane and Ben and Popeye and all those guys arrived, and we got a whole afternoon kind of to ourselves, and that was lovely because we just all sat down and caught up, and it was great.
Now,
and meeting General Patton's granddaughter, well, she was lovely. She was lovely, a trifle eccentric, but a lovely woman.
Yes.
I believe she trained at RADA, the big English drama school, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. I think she trained as an actor, so she was kind of, she was, very keen to meet us, and that was an amazing night as well. The sort of concert on the beach, right on Utah Beach, and this huge stage, and kids dance troupes there and stuff doing routines, and a great band. I can't remember who that band were, but they were fantastic. And that woman who sang the beautiful version of the Band of Brothers theme was beautiful, operatic vocalist. Just all the people that came, you felt really kind of, certainly I did, felt really special. The people travelled a long way to come and get us to sign things and get photos and have a chat, and I was really touched at the number of people who had made that effort. It's a long time ago for us. Obviously we're all, the actors are all still in touch with each other, but it was a long time ago that we finished it. So it was kind of breathtaking how present it still is for some people, and everybody was unfailingly lovely. Just really excited to sort of be there. I think we were all just as excited with the response. It was great.
As you guys are talking, I've been looking at the World War II Foundation Flickr page and looking at all the pictures just en masse, not doing it individually, which I'll go back and do later on. But it feels like I was standing right next to you guys as you were talking about all the fun stuff you did. I see the fireworks, but I haven't got to the band yet. Now, when you first got reconnected with some of the other actors, had there been a lot of change in any of their personalities or mannerisms since 14 years ago?
No, not at all. Not at all. Ross will testify to this. I arrived in a hotel in Bayeux and saw Ross McCall and Jimmy Madio, and we did our signing session, and then we went. Then we went for food, and Ross McCall and Jimmy and I just kind of picked up where we left off.
Was that the first you'd seen some of them since the show?
The American guys, yeah, because Ross McCall, he moved to LA immediately after the show, and
right.
I'd been in touch, but I hadn't. I think the year after we wrapped, it was sort of when it was airing. It was about October 2001. I flew over in a very, very empty plane. We're talking about 4 weeks after September the 11th. So I flew over to LA on this very, very empty plane, on a very, very cheap plane ticket as well, actually, because they couldn't get rid of them really. And saw the guys then. They had they were doing a reunion each week for each of the episodes that aired. So I think the 2 weeks I was there, I was at Rennie Moreno's house, and he had a big barbecue. And then the week after, we went up into the hills to Peter Youngblood Hills, and Ian Bailey were sharing a house, and we watched that. I think we watched episode 8 at Rennie's, and then episode 9 at Ian and Peter's. But since then, no, I kept in touch with Fassbender, because he was in London, and we hung out a lot for a couple of years afterwards before I moved back up to Scotland. Nolan, saw quite a bit of Nolan, Hemmings. Kept in touch with Shane, but mainly through sort of, email and things like that. But so yeah, so it was, especially the American guys, that was it, 2001. So it was a good 13 years since I'd laid eyes on them, but they hadn't changed that much.
Well, I think it's what I love about the Band of Brothers is they play it like twice a year on television nowadays, like on the Spike channel here in the States, and it doesn't matter what else is going on or what I'm doing. I will sit down and binge watch wherever I start until the end because it's still that good. I mean, I've seen it probably 20 times in the last 5 years, the entire series, and I still will watch it every time it comes on.
It isn't amazing. It's funny because actors are very reticent, to say about something they were in. When people go, "Oh, that was amazing," they go, "Oh," generally an actor, you won't say, "Yeah, it was, wasn't it?" Because it doesn't sound good. It's a bit, but I think each of us are able to sit back, having watched it, and appreciate the skill that went in from all the different departments into the show, and everybody, we were all such small parts of it, when people say, it's an amazing show, I don't feel any kind of ego or big-headedness in saying, yeah, it really was an amazing show, because, it's not like it was, I was, the main or lead character in it, and I'm going, yeah, it was great, and wasn't I, and just, I think you're able to appreciate it, and I don't think anybody would grudge any of us saying that, that it was an amazing show, because, it's just, it still stands up as well. That's the other thing for me. Quite often, you watch things that are maybe 10 years old, and there's just certain things about them, they look dated already.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. It's kind of preserved in time. It was kind of perfect in a way.
Now, do you have any big plans for this year's gathering? I mean, obviously you got to do all the rest of the same stuff, but do you have places that you want to see that's not on the list this year that wasn't last year, or are you just going to play it by ear?
I think we'll just play it. I think there's going to be a lot more of us this year because there's quite a few Americans coming over. Plus, so they'll want to do things that maybe we did last year. But to be honest, the whole place, it's so beautiful. I mean, they're real classic French rural towns, and you can just wander about them, just stroll around and just take in all these, all the sights, and you can't visit Bayeux enough times. It's such a gorgeous town. The big cathedral there, and obviously there's the tapestry, and the same with Saint-Mary-Église and Carentan. They're beautiful places. Just walking down that main street in Carentan down to the big monument in the middle of it, it's just breathtaking. It's so sort of quintessentially French. It's like a sort of you kind of look at it and think, well, pictures of France, and sometimes you think, but is France really like that? Still got its, the bakers and the cheese shop and the greengrocers. I'm sure it's all, Tesco's or Walmart, Walmart, mini Walmarts, and but it's not. It's still, these towns, they don't do supermarkets. They're still little towns where if you want bread, you go to the bakers, and if you want cheese, you have to go to the cheesemonger, and if you want fish, you have to go to the fishmonger. There's no one-stop shop, and they're just so. I don't have any huge plans. I'd like to go to St. Mary-Église during the day this time, if possible, because it was a night time really that we visited last time. As I say, there'll be so many more guys there, and so a lot of the time will be spent catching up with them, I guess, and finding out what what they've been up to. And although quite a lot of them we know exactly what they've been up to because they've been very present on our screens, on the screens, small and large. You look from Damien to Fassbender to Cudlitz to Colin Hanks. Colin had a good career up to that point, but he's really with Fargo and things, he's really got big, and even some of the much smaller parts. You look at James McAvoy now, and kind of.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good, I guess.
Yes, I think he's stuck in it well, James. But no, he was not long out of drama school, and he played a great part, in that one episode he was in, and he's now an A-list movie star. He can open a movie.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yes, well, yeah, I know. I think he got that little gig driving the Jeep by virtue of being on a plane with Tom Hanks and them having a conversation and, spending a plane journey together and Jimmy making Tom laugh and Tom sort of saying, oh, God, we've got to do something together, And he, offered Jimmy this, this nice little role, and he did it. But yeah, it's amazing to look at now at who's, where everyone has gone. And it's kind of incredible. There was one point last year where I was looking at where a kind of where are they now, and Ross McCall was playing detective in White Collar, and Colin Hanks was playing a policeman in Fargo, and Donnie was playing a policeman in Blue Bloods, and Michael Cudlitz was playing a policeman in Southland.
I noticed this, and was Kirk Acevedo playing a cop as well?
Kirk was playing a cop. I was playing a cop in River City for the BBC in Scotland. James McAvoy was playing a policeman in the Irvin Welsh film Filth that John Baird directed. 12 years ago we were all warriors, and now we're all kind of slightly paunchy policemen. What happened to us?
Listen, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time out, and sorry for hijacking you.
No, not at all.
We look forward to seeing you in June, and I'm sure it will be quite an experience for you guys as well, seeing each other again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for everything that you are doing and have done, and Godspeed and Currahee to Normandy this year, man.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Cheers,
Robin.
Black